How's it going?
Good, good. How are you?
Very good. All right. Well, thanks for doing this for us.
Cool.
Yeah, no probs, dude. No probs at all.
Yeah, and congratulations with the EP. It sounds great. It's really good.
Oh, thanks.
First of all, where did you record it at? Is that your Sham?
Yeah,
And masters as well?
yeah. We used a dude in Phoenix in America to master it.
Oh, cool.
So we just sort of hunted around and just tried some different people and ended up sticking with him.
Yeah. Oh, he's done a great job. Really
Yeah,
good.
yeah, he did do a good job.
But yeah, so just going through some of the songs now, the Leviathan.
Yep,
Here we go. So
that's
the
it.
first song, now I just noticed on YouTube it's got like over 85,000 views already, which is really cool.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
film clipped around there, and Spotify is just over 50,000.
Yeah, that's really good. I mean, for what? How many days? 3 days?
Well, oh no, Leviathan come out when, Karl? I think it come out in December. I
The
think
video
the
clip.
track Leviathan come out.
Oh,
in
okay,
December.
I gotcha. Yeah.
Yeah, the video
Um,
was out, whatever, 6 weeks,
Yeah.
8 weeks ago or something. But
Yeah,
the
yeah,
actual EP, Spotify, the full EP's should have only been up for 3 or 4 days. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
unreal.
so that's just beginning.
Yeah, yeah. No, that's really good. And I mean, to start off the whole album with that song, it's just a great song. You know, the great guitar harmonies intro. So has that song been around for a while?
No, we wrote that song recently.
Okay.
Like we had a lot of trouble because of COVID, so it sort of really slowed everything down for us, you know. But when we get together, we've got tons of ideas, you know. So we'd actually sit down and we'd like knock like a track out in a rehearsal, you know. So Leviathan
That
was pretty
song
much.
was really one rehearsal. We sat down at the start of the day, started with a riff, threw another riff in, and we had pretty much the rough arrangement within about probably an hour,
Oh,
hour and
wow.
a half. It came together really quick.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, we've got a pretty large pool of ideas, you know. So everyone just like I just sit here and just play guitar, and if I come up with a riff, I'll just record it on my phone, and then I'll annoy these guys with it, try to talk them into it.
Yeah.
But the majority of Leviathan was Stu.
Okay.
You know, like he missed out on the No Gods album just because we'd written everything by the time he joined the band, you know.
Yeah.
So once we got to this, like Stu just was bursting to get all these ideas out, you know. So that was predominantly his riffs, and we just sat down in an afternoon, put it all together.
Yeah. So how long have you been in the band now?
Oh,
I don't know. COVID kind of destroyed. I mean, well, when we played Churches of Steel, that was the start of 2020, wasn't it? January 2020.
yeah. We met Stu at Scott Ian.
at least 4 years.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, when Scott Ian was here, when he did his
we
speaking,
went to Scott Ian, and Stu was there. We hadn't seen Stu for years.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
You know, and just asked him what he was doing, and he said not a lot at the moment. We thought, well, come down, you know.
Yeah. So what
So
band was he in prior to this?
he was in Captain Trips,
Oh, yeah.
was in Tarkesis as well.
Okay.
I think so. Those two bands, and then like I said, we hadn't seen him for years. Same with George. Like when we got George back, I hadn't seen George for like 10 years. I didn't know how to get hold of him.
Oh, wow.
Just hadn't seen him, you know. And when he popped up, he just stuck
Yeah.
like mud.
Yeah. Oh, it's a good fit though. I mean, you know, if he, like you're saying, he wrote those riffs, and I know, you know, with you, Sham, a lot of the riffs you write are probably very similar to what he did for that song.
Yeah, maybe. Mine are a bit dyslexic, my riffs, you know. So some of them are a bit hard, you know, to sort of teach to people because they're just a bit all over the place, you know.
I always think Sham must write like a drummer because it all makes sense inside his head, but no one else seems to be able to follow the timing. They're patterns, and they eventually will come back to where they started, but it takes a while.
We're talking about ice here, aren't we?
Yeah, that one in particular. But there was that other one you threw up in one of those recording sessions about 6 or 8 weeks ago. It's progressively works its way up and then back down, and then each time you start on a different note in the pattern. Every time you repeat the pattern, you start on a different note in the pattern, but end up back. And And yeah, so Sham's got it down pat, of course. It just rolls off his fingers effortlessly.
Yeah.
And the rest of us are just sitting there for about an hour trying to figure out exactly where he's going with this. But it all makes sense. I mean, it's just that thing. Sham's just got this rolling. It's very rhythmic, very patterny, rhythmic type style.
Yeah.
You know, everything is a pattern, but it just they don't repeat in those predictable 4/4 time marks or anything. You know?
Yeah, so I remember having a few jams back at your house, and you were showing me a few riffs, and yeah, just the timing of your riffs. Like I was saying, Karl, it's very different, but it's cool. It works.
Yeah, thanks, man. Yeah, they're never normally in like 4/4.
Yeah.
You know, they're normally in groups of 3/4 or you know 5/4, or they make their way back to the one eventually. I just couldn't tell you.
The last one I think was 17/7. I think it was we were working on. I think it was good. It's fine. It came out.
And we normally don't play my riffs because it's just too much of a headache to teach to people, you know.
But in saying that though, some of the songs you got on the album, like Guardian and Sudden Death, I mean, I know they've been around for a long time, haven't they?
And Sir Megma, they've all been around since the early 80s.
Yeah, actually, talking about that, I've dug up some old cassette tapes.
The boy.
Sacred bootlegs. Like, was it from Metal for Melbourne, 85, the Skate Ranch, Nunawanning, Prince of Wales. I don't know if you guys have got these, but
No.
Oh, really?
Yeah, no, I'd love to get them.
Yeah.
I'm sure we never played the Skate Ranch. Did we play the Skate Ranch?
We did play the Skate Ranch. I remember getting there and you guys were already on stage and ready to go. I smashed my mum's car driving there. It was foggy and I ran into a post. I remember getting there and you were already standing on stage. I just thought, oh, fuck.
That's another one that's gone. I don't remember.
Really?
The Skate Ranch. Don't remember playing the Skate. I remember going to see Motorhead at the Skate Ranch, but I don't remember playing the Skate Ranch.
Oh,
we must have. There you go. It's on tape. It's on tape. Yeah, it happened.
And I'm not sure if this is the one, but I remember there was one gig. It was my 14th birthday, and you guys actually played Four Horsemen for me, and I was like over the moon. I was right. My big highlight on my footing. Yeah.
I just want to point out too, Adam. Now that you've held up those tapes to the camera, our lawyers will be in touch. We have the evidence we were after, so.
I don't know where they come from, actually.
Oh yeah, that's good. You just found them one day, it's not your fault.
Yeah, that's right.
Perfect.
Now going to the second song, Drone, which you spoke about before, that's probably my favorite. It's just everything in it, like the riffs, towards the end, your bass runs, Karl. It's really cool. The harmonies, vocal harmonies, just everything about it. I love.
Oh, thanks, man. Awesome.
No, it's true. It's really well written song. So, who wrote this one, or how did this come about?
Well, again, I think most of the song again I know the first riff was definitely Stu's, the opener, and I'm guessing a lot of it would have been Stu's, wouldn't it, Karl?
Yeah, the bulk of it is the change up on the solos, and that were not necessarily his. I think we just jammed off some of the things, his ideas, but most of the verses and even the chorus, I think, verse and chorus and the opening riff are all really from Stu. Although Stu has whenever he writes his riffs, they're always he really goes at it really flat out and they're really punchy and really aggressive. Yeah. So we sometimes soften the edges a little. We just when we all start coming in and we start working on it, we keep the essence of what he was doing, but sometimes we just kind of shave the sharp edge off a little, which is not necessarily a good thing, but it's just what happens. But yeah, he does tend to attack everything flat out. All these ideas are really strong and very powerful.
Yeah, there's a lot of enthusiasm behind them.
That's right. And with the bass bits at the end, I was just really wanting to try and do something a little different. We write songs, and I'm very happy that the bass and drums try to lay down a foundation and let the guitars and vocals do most of the work.
Yeah.
But there was just a point here. Sham's been doing a little bit more, perhaps sometimes with some of the drum patterns, and that was a song where I thought I'll try a little bit more than I would normally do with the bass. Just take it a little bit further than normal.
Yeah. Why not? No, it works.
Yeah, why not? Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, in saying that too, I mean, you guys have been together over 40 years playing, like the two of you. It's like Darren and I, my brother, been playing together a long time. You just get to know pretty much just by certain little looks, it's going to come up and what feels to do, and especially with bass too.
I love playing with Karl. We've always gelled really together well together, our styles.
Yeah.
So I agree with you there. We sort of know where each other's going to go roughly.
Yeah.
So I think we lock in really well.
Mm.
Yeah. I've done occasional other things over the years, just little side projects or jamming with people or something. But in essence, the only drummer I've ever really worked on any serious level with is Sham. And there's nothing wrong with when I work with other drummers. It's not like, oh, I can't play with them or something. It's it's not like that. But it's just smooth. With Sham, like I said, it's effortless or something. But you don't have to spend a lot of time thinking about what we're going to do. It just kind of goes together. And I think that's part of what, although we've had a lot of lineup changes over the years with the band, bit by bit, because we've kept the bass and drums solid the whole way through, I think it's part of what gives us some sort of continuity in the sound.
Exactly, yeah.
Certainly not in the writing. The writing changes at different times, but the sound has sort of got a core.
Yep. Yeah.
Which we've kept all the time, which is good.
Yeah, that's right. I know there's a lot of bands around that time, back to the 80s, 90s, but I think you guys really had that sound down, perfect, especially that rhythm section. It's great. And
I agree.
There wasn't many drummers around like you.
Oh, thanks, man. I hope that's good.
No, that's great.
Thanks.
I mean, we always looked up to you. It's your playing and just everything you did, songwriting. You're a big part of our family, really.
Oh, good man, Adam.
That's true. Now, talking about the olden days, let me just quickly share this one.
Jesus.
It's going way back.
Yeah, unfortunately, that bullet belt doesn't fit anymore. I still have it. I have it lying around somewhere in a closet somewhere. But no, that don't fit no more.
Yeah. It's funny too with us at the moment, like with a lot of reviews and stuff we get, like I find people try to pigeonhole us. So we'll get reviewed in a thrash magazine and they'll just say, yeah, they're not thrash enough. And then we'll get reviewed in a power metal magazine and they'll say we're not power metal enough, And for me, it's because we were around before then. Do you know what I mean? Like there wasn't sort of power metal had just started and thrash had just started too. Do you know what I mean? Like I remember while me and Karl were together, the first Metallica album coming out, the first Man of War album coming out, first Slayer album coming out. And so that there wasn't really genres back then.
Yeah.
So why we write songs, we don't sort of really write to a genre. We just write how me and Karl have written forever. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So we don't fit into any of those categories. I don't think anyway.
No, you're exactly right. No, I mean, I've seen a few, a couple of reviews, they spoke about the whole thrash metal thing, but I don't see it as thrash at all. I mean, I've known you guys for a long time. I just see it as nothing sacred. It's original. It's heavy, but it's got good riffs. It's got good vocals. It's not all those screaming type vocals, which I class as thrash, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, well, we sort of, me and Karl came from we were sort of in the Melbourne thrash punk scene. Do you know what I mean? So we came, even before we did Death Wish, I was in Depression, which is a thrash punk band. Do you know what I mean? So we didn't really come from a thrash metal background. We came from more of a thrash punk background. That makes any sense.
Yeah. How about
sorry? I was going to say the other side of all that has always been that it's really, I think, the reputation or the labeling that grew over time that we were thrashy or something. It's just because every time we played live, I guess, it's like Sham was saying the other day, we just get excited and we just get faster and faster as the night wore on. Yeah. So by the time we got to the last number, whatever the last song was, it could have been a ballad and we'd just be going at 100 miles an hour. Yeah. We're just having so much fun playing live that we'd get faster and faster and faster. So I don't think we wrote fast necessarily, but when we played live, we probably the pedal got stuck down on full on the floor and we just went full out. So I think that's where it came from. I mean, we were fast when we played live for the time. I mean, nowadays there's so many bands that's so fast, but
Yeah.
you know, back then in 1983 or something, we were pretty fast when we were hitting the stage. And I think that's really what's kind of shaped the reputation to a degree. A lot of people remember us and go, "Oh yeah, they're really fast," you know. But you listen to the recorded songs, they're fast enough. There's fast tracks in there, but it's definitely not a full-on thrash album. None of the albums have been wall-to-wall thrash or anything like it.
Yeah, no, for
And
sure.
you're talking about days too, where like Overkill and Fast as a Shark. Do you know what I mean? Like people heard those and just like, God, that's just extreme. You know, like where by today's standards, with bands so like Fallujah and stuff, where we're not even remotely fast. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. The speedo's a lot faster nowadays for other people.
Yeah.
We're getting slower too. Live, I mean, every time we jam, we get a little bit slower.
But talking about fast, whatever happened to NCM? Was that
Well, we
you too
released
fast?
NCM actually in a box set recently.
Oh, did you really?
Yeah, we've released Nothing Sacred, like 2 CDs and a DVD. And one of the CDs was just sort of a bit of a friends and relations thing. We just stuff that, we done pre that, and NCM's in there.
No, I didn't realize it.
Yeah, they're great tracks. I'm still trying to figure out how we can resuscitate those tracks and bring them back.
Or do NCM too.
Yeah. I mean, because they're not really songs, because they were made to be, but not a joke, but they were not supposed to be attempt to be uber serious.
Yeah.
So, and they not really fit the Nothing Sacred mold. So I can't really see us just bringing them back and playing them as they were. Or maybe, I don't know. Maybe it doesn't matter. Maybe we can just do that. Just bring them back and play them with Sacred. I don't know.
So
Or maybe we just pick the eye out.
Yeah. Was that just the two of you, NCM?
Yeah, Karl. So Karl said to me, if I want to write some songs, he'll finance it. And I think within 2 weeks of us deciding that, we'd written like 5 songs, I think it was, and went into a studio. So it was like really, really quick, Yeah, and it was just the two of us.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah, and it was it 8-track? There wasn't many tracks because we had to keep bouncing things down.
Yeah, there wasn't a lot
to make room for more overtakes. Yeah, we'd record, whatever bass and drums or something. We'd have to bounce them off onto one track so we could free up some more tracks to do some more overdubs or something.
Yeah.
So it was a pretty fly by night type operation, but it worked.
Yeah.
Of course, Sham and I both sang, so you got the pleasure of hearing our wonderful voices.
That's awesome. And I think we recorded both the bass and the guitar through a 5-watt practice amp. Like it looks like I've still got it here actually. 1960s really shit practice amp, 2 distortion units.
Oh wow. Unreal.
We also think it might be the first punk metal recording with a sitar, but we're not sure.
Yeah. Okay.
Sham played sitar on one track.
Oh, right.
So that was kind of the mood we were in at the time. We were playing around a little bit, trying a few things. That was good. I still love those tracks. They're great songs.
Yeah.
We had another track, I think. Was it Panadol Contains Paracetamol?
Yeah.
PCP? Yeah. We never ended up doing that, did we?
No, I've got it all
it.
still. I've got the riff still.
Yeah, we had an unreleased track there. We never finished that one.
No, it's going to be NCM too.
Yeah, I was going to say there's a reason. Got a reason to do it now. A missing track.
Yeah.
Now, just the last song on the new EP, the trance mix. Now, I mean, I'm not much of a trance fan, but the way you guys did that, did you do that yourself?
Yeah.
It's really cool. It sounds great.
Oh, thanks, man. It was just sort of a last minute thing. It was just playing around with the song and just screwing around with it for a couple of days. And then I just played it to the other guys and thought, well, should we use it for something? And sort of, I think majority ruled, and we just ended up sticking on the EP.
Yeah, no, I mean, the harmonies really stand out in that drone version. The trance version.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah. So with the vocal harmonies, was that all Stark?
No, it was the harmonies were me.
Oh, really? Look at that.
I know, right? Who would have guessed?
Yeah, you've improved.
Thanks, I know.
No, that sounded really good. That sounded great.
You can't hear my dopey voice in it.
There was a time in the mid '90s where Sham and I were jamming with one of the original Richard, one of the old last sacred guitarists from the '80s, and
Yep.
a singer, Paul, I think.
Yep.
Can't
Yeah,
remember his
Paul.
last name.
No.
And Sham had put together some songs, and we put together some songs, and we're jamming it and all that sort of stuff. And then there was one day when they wanted to try to put in some background vocals.
Mm.
So everybody got me, they mic'd me up, which doesn't normally happen all that often in a rehearsal studio. And I closed my eyes because I was trying to concentrate on playing bass and singing. And we got up to the bit where I'm supposed to do the background vocals or whatever. And I got my eyes shut and I'm singing away. And it's my ears sort of think, hang on, it's like everybody stopped or something. And I opened my eyes and the other three were on the ground just laughing in hysterics. Absolutely killing themselves laughing. So that was the end of me as a professional singer. That was the one and only time I seriously tried to sing background vocals.
Yeah.
It didn't go well.
No.
I don't generally go there for the background vocals unless I've got to say ooh or ah.
Oh, yeah.
I'm about that level. I'm okay with that.
That's
And
good.
the end of me was our Hawk Lords thing, Ed. That was
Yeah.
the end of me trying to sing. I was done. Done and dusted.
No, you did well with that.
Yeah, right. Good on you.
Yeah, that was good fun. I mean, both the Hawk Lords and the Explosive Hits, they're great little bands.
Yeah. So we've been playing together since the start of the 90s,
Yeah, that's right.
you and I.
Yeah. Now,
It's
whatever.
exactly the same. It's the same day that Sham started growing that beard. I think it's the same day.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, exactly. Whatever happened to your car, Sham?
I'm a Hellman.
Yes, with this.
I gave it to an ex-Teresa. I should have kept the bonnet.
I know.
Should have just kept the bonnet.
Yeah.
You know? And it just got lost. But that car was like 3 cars. You know, I'd drive it around for ages and it'd start falling to bits and the motor would be falling out. And, you know, there's a period of time I'd have to open the door to brake because there was no brakes. I'd stick my foot outside the car and I'd just use my foot to pull up. And then someone would offer me one for $50. So I'd just swap the bonnet over and my rego plates and stickers and I'd drive that around for a few years and then that one would fall to pieces. And I just keep doing it. Hillman Hunter, mate, you know.
What a great car that was. I mean, just the visual of it was great.
You'd been in it enough times,
Oh,
weren't you?
yeah, I pushed it a few times up and down some hills.
That boy.
Those goddamn hills in Templestowe and Doncaster, around the back. A number of times I've been in that car with Sham in the middle of the night going up and down those hills.
Yeah, that was
you know.
only in Corpse's panel van. We'd all jump
Yeah,
in
there's a
back
fair
of it
bit
and
of
get
that too.
drunk and we'd try to get airborne, you know. I didn't know you did that with us.
Yeah. I remember you and me, Sham, trying to find, I think it's Haley's Comet or something. We were driving around out the back of Warrandyte or something, and you were fanging it over some of the hills. Every time you came to a little rise, you just give it that little bit extra push. Just see if you can actually get that airborne. I don't think we actually found the comet. I remember we were trying to find some comet or something. Trying to get out in the middle of nowhere.
Big hill to get it airborne. Yeah.
But in saying that, though, it had a great sound system.
The car,
Yeah.
if you could hear it over the exhaust, it had fallen off. Sounded like a tractor.
I remember getting.
Sham knew where to spend the priority money on the sound system.
Yeah, that's right. So what's the plan now? What's happening for the band and any gigs, other recordings coming up?
We can't really say, can we, at the moment?
Okay.
Like we've got a gig coming up pretty soon, but it just hasn't been announced yet, so we can't actually. We're not in a position to say.
Yeah, no, fair enough.
Details to come. Details still to come.
Yeah,
That's all right.
and we've started recording already. So we've started recording our next stuff.
Yeah, and that's all new songs or some older ones as well?
Mainly new.
Yep.
We'll throw, because we recorded a whole pile of stuff we started in 2015, like I did all drum tracks and stuff. And so we've got a whole pile of especially drum tracks just sitting there.
Mm.
So we don't want to release just a whole pile of old stuff. Do you know what I mean? So we've still got tons of ideas floating around.
Oh yeah.
You know, so we're writing at the moment. We've started recording at the moment. So we're a good way through a new track, our first new track since the album, or the EP. And yeah, we're just going to keep writing and recording. You know, really, like we're on a bit of a roll now. It's been a long time. 1987, you know, was the last thing before the No Gods album. So now we're on a roll. We're just trying to stick with it.
Yeah. So you think the next one will be an album or EP or just whatever comes up?
I myself would maybe prefer to go with EPs and stuff at the moment because you can just chew them out quicker.
Yeah.
You know, even releasing tracks and clips, like just to keep the momentum going. You know, if we do a whole album, we could be spending a year on it, you know, and we'd sort of prefer not do that if we can.
Yeah. 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 I mean, it's the way to go.
I don't think it's obvious what's better or worse. So we'll just do whatever we think is working at the time. I mean, I think if we suddenly wrote a whole pile of songs and recorded them quickly, we might do an album. But if we're doing it more spaced out and we're doing a song or two every couple of months, and rather than wait a year and a half to gather 10 or 12 tracks, you're better off maybe to do an EP after 8 months, put out a 6-track EP or something.
Yeah, for sure.
So I'm not sure. I think we just play it by ear, see how we're going.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose it doesn't really matter. Doesn't matter these days, does it? Really, because it's all released digitally. So EP, LP, single doesn't really matter.
Yeah, but it seems like because the whole we're trying to get our head around it because we are so old school. But getting your head around the whole idea of just releasing tracks, which seems to be what most people do. They just seem to release tracks.
Yeah.
You know, and just keep releasing tracks, and when you release enough of them, turn it into an album and put that out.
Yeah, exactly.
So we're trying to get our head around that.
Yeah.
You know, so we're sort of thinking of giving it a go of just releasing songs, but like I said, like Karl said, nothing's really set in stone.
Yep.
We just sort of do what we do, and if we think we've got enough here, let's just put it out. We'll put it out.
One extra thing, Adam, just want to throw into the on the track, Sudden Death. Sorry, I had a mental fade for a second. On Sudden Death, we got Riley in from Desecrator to share the vocals, and really appreciate him throwing his bit in as well, because that, I think he suited that track really well, because that's probably a thrashier track, so it fits well in his domain. But he did a great job, and Sham mixed it together with him and Chris. Make it essentially a duet, I suppose. And look, it's come out really well because Chris was able to grind a few bits out, and Riley's got that classic thrash sound anyway. So really, that track came together really well, and we really appreciate Riley giving us his help with that one. It was good.
Thanks, Riley.
Yeah. It's definitely one of probably the heaviest songs, I'd say, you reckon, on the EP, Sudden Death.
What's the fastest?
Oh, fastest, especially with the double bass work going.
And probably one of the oldest.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's on one of these cassettes. There we go. Sudden Death. Look at that.
What year's that?
That's at the skate ranch. So what was that? 83, 84?
Well, Karl doesn't remember doing it. So.
That never happened. No, that never happened. So that's an imaginary one, that one.
Well, it's actually got Nothing Sacred, Tyrus, Skate Ranch.
Nothing Sacred and Tyrus.
That probably would have been 84, 85, yeah?
Might have been 86. We went to Sydney with Tyrus in 86, I think.
Okay.
It could have been before, though. Could have been before. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think the skate ranch was pretty close to when Motorhead played there. So it would have been
84 then, yeah.
Yeah, somewhere around there.
But yeah, some classic songs on here. Like this one's 85. That was Metal for Melbourne.
Yeah.
It's got like Night Fighter. Gee, sorry, I don't have glasses. Fire, Sirens. Yeah. So what's that? The Curse. The Curse, was that on one of the albums? It was, wasn't it?
That was on the Death Wish EP.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, of course.
Awesome. We started playing the Curse again, didn't we?
We played it at Metal for Melbourne in 2017. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh, well, there you go.
We opened with it.
Now, Shane, will there be any more of them, you think? Metal for Melbourne, I know you did it with Greta.
It's a maybe. I'm sort of, we sort of left it for a while, but I'm trying to, like, if I can get enough other old bands to actually play,
Yeah.
you know, it's on the cards, but it's not a definite yet. You know, like, but the first Metal from album, like once we decided to do it, we put that together really fast. Like it didn't take very long at all. You know, so this will be the same thing. If we decide to do it and it happens, it won't take very long from, you know, thinking about it to putting it together.
Yeah. Well, you guys will be ready anyway.
Yeah, well, we've got
So ready to go.
Yeah. That's awesome. All right, no, thanks again. But and also just one last shout out to. So is it Rock Shots? Are they? Is that sort of like the promotion manager or
No,
something?
they're our label.
Oh, the label. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, they're actually our label.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're in Italy.
Oh, right. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, they're doing great things for you guys, which is great.
Yeah, absolutely. They've been awesome.
Very cool.
Yeah, it's good to have somebody to work with. They certainly know, especially Europe, they know it way better than we ever could. So, you know, they know what they're doing over there, and it really, you know, it's a huge step up for us not to have to try and figure that out.
Yeah, yeah. Right.
They can take care of that and work well. So it's good.
Yeah, excellent. Thanks again, guys.
Cool.
We'll talk to you real soon.